session with you. So take it away, Ty, whenever you're ready.
Hey, Seven Eagle Academy. Uh, this next speaker obviously is already on the screen. You can already see him, but just want to start out with first of all, thanks Casey for being here. And then I met Casey at the MIC a couple of weeks ago. You guys remember some of the Seven Eagle team went out to Atlanta for the Military Influencer Conference, and I met Casey and one of his business partners, Ben. They run Recon Supply, which is a medical device company. They provide medical devices for VA hospitals around the country. And this dude is impossible to get a hold of. Like, I'm calling him literally 1 minute ago, like, Casey, I need to get you on this call because you got to share your story with our students at Seven Eagles. So you guys wouldn't mind if you're coming back from the break, pop your cameras on out of respect because Casey is a busy dude and he took time out of his day to come be with you guys. So have some questions ready for him. I'm going to ask him some, and then we'll just roll into this thing. And I hope to learn a lot, and I hope you guys learn a lot too. By the way, Casey's a Navy veteran as well, so he's definitely familiar with the audience. He told me he was going to try to avoid the F words if he can. But but Casey, man, dude, thank you so much for being here. If you wouldn't mind starting out, just tell us about your Navy career first. Like, how did that all come about, and what was your experience like?
Yeah, no, I went out of high school. I was a my parents were actually really pissed. I try to make this a little personal, right? Instead of just giving you cut dry answers. But so my parents are actually pretty pissed at me because I was a division, I played soccer competitively all the way up, and they paid for trainers and all that kind of stuff. And the cash, the rebate was supposed to be I was going to go to college and for soccer, and they'd get their money back that way. And I came home one day and was like, "Yeah, not doing that. I burnt out. I'm done. I'm actually going to the Navy," which is funny. I was wanting to go to the Air Force, no lie. But they're in the shopping mall, the strip center, right? You got Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines. They're all in the same place, in every small town in America. And I showed up for my appointment with the Air Force guy, and it was dark. There was nobody in there. The lights were off, and Navy guy was standing out there smoking a cigarette. And he was like, "Yeah, you had an appointment with Bob, the Air Force recruiter." And I was like, "Yeah, where's he at? It's messed up, this, that, and the other." And he was like, "Dude, you just missed him. He had a golf bag on his back. He took off." He's like, "That's par for the Air Force. They don't care about you guys." He was like, "Why don't you come over and talk to me?" And so yeah, I went and talked to the Navy guy, and 3 weeks later, I was in Great Mistakes, shoveling snow in
That
boot
has
camp.
to be that has to be how all the other branches, beside from the Air Force, actually get their recruits. Is people showed up for the Air Force guy, but he already hit quota for the week, and so he's gone, and then they just land at the next best thing. So that's cool.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
bet there's probably 10 other people on the call with that same story. I had an
Yeah,
appointment with the Air Force guy, but he blew me off to go golfing. So no, that's
yeah,
funny, man. What career, like, what was your rate in career and stuff like that in the Navy?
yeah. So I was a AW, and a SAR guy, for a while, and then did that for 6 years and exited gracefully, from the Navy, and then went to college, went to the University of Florida. And then after the University of Florida, nepotism got me into medical device. So I was selling hips, knees, shoulders, and all that kind of jazz down in South Florida, for one of my uncles. I was a sub rep for a while, and then I became a full-fledged rep. And then I spent 18 years in medical device sales up and down the chain, regional manager and area vice president and all that kind of jazz. And then I guess get it full circle, coming to this is 2019. The world stopped when COVID happened, and pretty much every medical device sales rep, or especially OR sales rep, transitioned because they couldn't get into the OR anymore because it was closed down pretty much, except for the elective surgeries they call it, right? Like a total joint or something, you can live without it. It's just gonna hurt, right? So they canceled all those surgeries pretty much. So I started selling PPE like every other surgical device rep. And I got lucky and actually met somebody that had PPE. It wasn't on a pallet in a ship off the coast of, LA waiting to get sent in, which was kind of the running joke of what everybody used to say. And um, He actually was a neighbor of mine, and he was the largest textile importer in the United States. And so he turned a couple of his factories over to making PPE. We started selling PPE for him, and I was selling to the stockpile guys, the NIH guys. And one of the guys over there, I got to talking to and became friends with, and he was like, "Hey, you're a veteran, or you're disabled vet?" And I was like, "I mean, yeah, technically, yes." And he was like, "Have you heard of this SDVOSB thing?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "You should look into it, man. Switch careers, do something a little different." And so that was a catalyst that got me into the SDVOSB world, which is a service disabled veteran-owned small business. And yeah, so I got my CVE certification through the VA, is who you used to have to do it through. Now you do it through the SBA, the Small Business Association. Got my certification and reached out to do like a mentor protege program that they have that you can do. It was kind of unofficial. You just kind of basically you dialed for dollars. You called people and you're like, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'll give you some free labor. We help me learn the processes and how contracts work and all that kind of stuff." Um, Everybody told me to piss off because I got 18 years of experience in the orthopedic world, in medical device world, and they were like, "You're going to steal all of our customers. Everybody, go away." And I happened to run into a company called Apiary Medical, and the CEO over there brought me on to help run a company he had just bought that was all orthopedics. So they had contracts with the DoD and the VA, but all the companies they represent were orthopedic companies. So he brought me on, and I worked with his contract specialist to turn around the business and get it profitable and all that kind of jazz. And turns out his contract specialist is my now business partner, Steve Clark. So we had some ideas on how to do things a little different, make it a little better, and they didn't want to hear it over there. So we started our own thing. So Recon, and so now I'm switching gears on you guys again. Sorry, my ADD is off the charts, but so Recon Supply got started in 2016 by Steve and Katie Clark, husband and wife. And Steve was going through his MBA at the time, and he used it as the case study, how to do like federal, contracting. And so he started the company then, and then same thing happened to him. COVID hit, the world stopped, and so he had to go get a job because everybody's got a mortgage to pay, And so he went in to Apiary, and me and him met. And then when we had our own ideas and we'd been doing it for a while, 3 years ago, actually, 3.5 years ago, we started we started Recon back up, Recon Supply, because he already had some contracts that were sitting on the shelf and all that kind of stuff. So me, him, and his wife started it back up. We've been doing it for 3.5 years now.
That's crazy. So, like, first, I got to go back a little ways because you kind of went pretty deep there. So, when it comes to like when you were getting out, and you made an amazing career in sales over the last 18 years, and I know we have some sales-minded folks on the call. So, I'm curious, what was it that you pulled from your Navy career that helped you, sort of find success early on and throughout your time in sales? Like, what were those intangibles that you got from the military that you're able to use on the civilian side?
The leadership courses, and then helped a lot. In the time management skills that the military provides, helped a ton. And then just being able to, especially what I did in the military, just being able to transition quick and be like, "Hey, this was a plan, but it's not no more. It's now this." And so being adaptable, I guess, to use an adjective that is there, helped me a ton. Because yeah, I wasn't ready for college when I was 18. There was no way I wouldn't have lasted. I needed to grow up a little bit, and the Navy afforded me to do that. And I appreciate my time in. I'm one of those guys. I'm not one of those guys that's like, "Man, I wish I'd have never went." You run into those guys every so often. They're few and far between, but I've met a couple. They're like, "Yeah, it was the biggest mistake. I should have never done that." Like, I'm the exact opposite. And I'm sure when I get older and, I get one of those hats that you see the VA guys running around with, the older gentlemen in the VA, I'll speak fondly, right? Sitting around a coffee group at a McDonald's talking to a bunch of other old fuddy-duddies, about
Yep.
times that long gone and past.
Man, that's awesome. And like I've got a host of other questions, but just so you guys
Yeah.
know, Derek's got the right idea. He's got his hand up. If you guys have questions throughout this thing, for Casey, whether it be about his Navy career or any of the businesses that he's successfully scaled and started and all that stuff and getting contracts, government contracts, whatever questions you guys have, throw your hand up. I'll pause my questions and call on you guys. So first one coming out of Raleigh, North Carolina, we got Derek Welch. What's up, man? What you got?
Hey, I just want to say the Navy is the best branch, and the reason why that Air Force guy was there was because the Navy needed you. That was for you, Tyler. Hey, so Derek Welch, I was in the Navy for 20 years, man. I'm transitioning now, so it's a little bit different for me. But I was just curious, man. As an AW, did you do any flight deck time on any aircraft carriers, or were you specific? What was your area of expertise while you were in?
I was on frigates, for the most part. And and we were sonar buoy guys, you know.
Oh,
With
okay, I see.
with
Yeah,
a
I
little
know.
fishing expeditionary mixed in, you know.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
get it. I was just curious because I mean, obviously working on the flight deck aircraft carriers for 20 years, I got to know some of the AWs that worked in the helo squadrons and stuff like that. So I was just curious, but man, I'm also wondering about how you managed to just kind of start your own business and kind of run with it, you know? What were the things that kind of made you, I know I heard some of it as far as like it kind of pushed you in that direction, but what solidified that choice for you to say, all right, well, I don't really want to work for anyone else and I want to have my own business and this is how I do it.
I'm stubborn. No, the I think it's I look at W-2s 1099. So I have, I guess, a little bit, just kind of segueing a little bit about Recon, right? So we have a W-2 sales force. We're building out a national sales force, and they're all veterans. So I only hire veterans, which that's not true. I got two non-veterans on the sales force. But yeah, hint, hint. Oh, but yeah, so I only hire veterans for my sales, and it's because medical device, right? A lot of guys want to get into it. And I see it every day. And it's a catch-22 scenario, to where, you talk to the Strykers, the Medtronics, the Arthrexes, you name the medical device company in the world, and they're like, "Yeah, you look great, man, but we won't hire you because you don't have any experience." And you're like, "Well, I need you to give me a chance to get some experience, right?" And nobody wants to give you that chance. We do. I do. Because I know it's a good old boy network and it's hard to get into. And so that's one of the give backs that we do is we only hire vets. So I guess it was wanting to do things my own way. So the stubborn thing does play into it a little bit. Is I got ideas and I think my ideas are the best ideas. And so yeah, that's really why we started Recon, is me and Steve had an idea of how we wanted to do this and kind of change the way that service disabled veteran owned small businesses are ran in the contracting space. Because as far as we know, we're the only ones that have a sales force like we do. And Yeah, I've just always been an entrepreneur. I own some coin laundries. I do this, I do that. I dabble in a bunch of different stuff. So sales was kind of a natural progression for me because you're your own boss in essence, right? In your own little territory that you have. You kind of run your plan and you kind of do it the way you want to do it. If you're lucky and if you got a good boss, they let you do it the way you want to do it. If you got a bad boss, they jam it and micromanage you and make you do it their way. Which sucks because then if you don't perform, it was his fault, not your fault, right? So I always like to put it on the person. And I'm here to help, but I want you to come up with your own ideas and do it your way because I hired you for that territory, so that's your own little area of the world and make it happen, kind of thing.
Well, Casey, we need to talk because I don't know if you know, but Tyler said I was in the Raleigh area. Do you know what's over here?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. So I know
Oh, well,
Raleigh.
then you
Yeah.
know that I have Duke University and Duke Health and
Yep.
UNC and NC State and Wake Forest and a million other, small companies that are doing all healthcare, and it's all for like the retirees that are coming and moving to this area. So
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
definitely be connecting with you. And with that being said, do you have a LinkedIn that we can throw in there?
Oh shit. I do. I
He does have a LinkedIn, but he
yeah.
doesn't. Well,
Um,
we'll drop it for you, Casey. Someone will drop your LinkedIn, but
Thank you very much.
Casey, just so you guys know in the audience, Casey's a guy you gotta call him 3 times back to back to back before Because, like I said, he's on meetings all day. But great questions, Derek. Appreciate the input, getting the conversation going. Next up, we got Chris Banzit, who's in the correct branch of the military, and in Crestview, Florida. Go ahead, Chris.
I appreciate the segue, Tyler, because I was also going to say something about the Air Force being the best branch. So I appreciate that. Casey, how's it going? My daughter is active duty Navy, so the Navy she works on the aircraft carriers as a quartermaster. So
Nice.
yeah, so I do have a soft spot for the Navy. I'll say that as well. Um, I have a lot of sales experience. I've also ran a small business as a handyman for some time. Um, and a couple of things that I've learned throughout my sales experience, I kind of wanted to pick your brain to see if there's any other tips that you wouldn't mind sharing. But a couple of things from a sales perspective that I've learned that people do wrong is one, they don't listen because a lot of times we go into situations with sales with a preconceived notion of our agenda and the thing that we want to push. And 9 times out of 10, if we just get the customer talking and they'll tell us exactly what it is that they want and how we can help them. We just have to know how to facilitate that conversation. And, one of the things that I learned throughout my time as a sales professional was, asking open-ended questions, not yes, no type questions. Like for instance, a lot of times you go into a store or something like that, and somebody will say, hey, do you need help with anything? And they say no. And so you're already getting a negative response from them. Like when I used to sell furniture, when I was very young, I sold furniture at this furniture store. One of the things they taught us to ask was, you come in and you say, are you looking for furniture or appliances? And they might not be looking for like living room or kitchen. They might be like, no, I'm not looking for either one of those things. But then they'll tell you what it is. No, I'm actually in here looking for this. Well, now you already know. And you say, well, that's great. Let me show you where that section of our store is. And you start kind of narrowing down the things that they're looking for. So those are a couple of things that I was able to pick up through my experience. I want to know if there's any things that you have learned in terms of how you're really able to engage the customer to identify what it is that they need, to find out how you can kind of fit that need. If there's anything additional you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, man. Chris, you're for being in the Air Force, you sound like a pretty smart dude, man. You are right on target. Yeah, it's 80% listening, 20% talking, is what I've found. My sales manager, my first gig, I've been doing it about 2 years or so, no, about 2.5 years. And I had a guy I couldn't get. I had part of his business. I didn't have all his business, a surgeon, and I've been trying to get his business for a long time. And he one day I was like, hey man, I'll bring you in lunch. I just want to sit down and talk to you about your knee business. I had his rotator cuff business. Well, anyway, but sorry, I get into the weeds. You guys stop me or just indulge me a little bit. But and so I asked him, I was like, I want all your business, or I want your knee business. We got the best knee in the market, blah, blah, blah. You're using this, they suck, yeah, all that kind of stuff, talking shit for months, probably 6, 8 months. And he, he agreed for the lunch, right? So I brought him in a burger or some shit in his office, and I brought my sales manager in, this guy named Eric, really smart guy. And he'd been doing it at that year, 20 years at that point, right? And he, we were getting ready to walk in the building, and he was like, hey, so you asked me to come down here and do this. He's like, so I'm doing this. Like, you shut up, don't talk, and just follow my lead. And I was like, all right, yeah, you got it, man. So we went into the office and sat down with Dr. Gerard. And if any of y'all know Dr. Gerard, tell him I said hi. He's down in Boca Raton, Florida. But anyway, sat down with Dr. Gerard, and he sat across the desk from us, his desk from us. So he was in a power position. They play all the games, right? And we started talking about the knee business that we wanted to get from him. And Eric did ask a closing question, like, so what do you think? Or, he asked just a closing question, and then he shut up. And it was a good 2 minutes, if I had to guess, which felt like 6 hours. Before, finally Dr. Gerard, he's playing with stuff on his desk and, looking at things. And he's like, well, nobody's going to talk. I guess I'll talk. So, and he just started talking himself into it. Oh, your knee, this, that, my knee, that, yeah, blah, blah. And he was hemming and hawing. And finally he was like, all right, yeah, screw it. I'll give you one. Let's see how it goes. And so that day I learned he who talks first loses. And so I've carried that with me my whole career. And I like to talk, as you guys can tell. But yeah, when I'm in front of a customer or something like that, yeah, just let them talk. Because you're trying to sell them, and all the no's you get are just it's not I always would tell people it's not a no, it's not a no forever, it's a no today. Right. So I mean I would tell my customers that all the time, hey doc, how about this, that, and the other? And he'd be like, no, man, no. I'm like, "All right, I'll see you tomorrow." He'd be like, wait, I just told you no. And I'll be like, yeah, that was Wednesday's no. I'll see you Thursday and see what you say. It's just a mentality you got to have when you get into sales. You got to trick yourself into coming back the next day and getting kicked in the nuts. Is all it really is. So
That is so accurate. Such accurate information. Like, I would say, even if you're going to be the first one to talk, make sure that you end whatever you say with a question. Am I right, Casey?
yes, sir.
So that you can get that other person talking. And those of you that are on the call right now that are like, I'm a project manager, or I'm in aviation, or I'm in whatever. Sales is a part of all of your lives, whether you are like, whether you see that or not. Like, I'll tell you what, getting my 3 kids in bed at night is a sale, right? Like, I gotta convince them that getting to bed on time is a worthy cause. And so I'm selling that to them. I mean, literally everything you can think of as a sale. So that's really good advice for anybody on the call. Josh Glenn, what's your question, brother?
Good morning, Casey. Yeah, so I'm from the men's department here at the Navy, the Marine Corps. I've been on, the recruiting jokes just keep coming, and the branch jokes, so I had to throw it in there.
Yeah.
So I've been on Marine recruiting for going on 14 years now. Now I'm the consultative sales chief for pretty much half the Eastern region. So you're saying you have your sales and your sales team. I mean, is there any specific kind of requirements you're looking for? Or I'm up in Ohio right now. Kind of what territories do you have?
Yeah. So I got 22 out of the 52 I'm going to need. That's just to cover all the VAs. There's 172 VAs in the United States. And I give my sales reps 3 to 4. What's the, I see the tile in the bottom. What's the Panther thing from Anchorman? I was just sitting here trying to think of that little thing. Like it works 80% of the time, it works 100%.
60% of the time works every time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's going through my head as I'm seeing the comments on the bottom. But yeah, so there's 172 VAs. There it is. There it is. And I give everybody 3 to 4, right? VAs, our sales reps. And so yeah, we're looking at that 50-52 range is what I think I have on my map. And I've already got your question. Navy, not Air Force, man. I got small-minded. I was supposed to ask you what your favorite color was. Like favorite what flavor do you like the best?
Well, I like blue the best.
Blue, yeah, blue's your
Blue,
favorite.
blue's
Yeah.
my favorite color.
I've heard a
Favorite
great
flavor.
response to that. So I got an Army guy that works in South Carolina for me, and he loves to ask Marine Corps guys that. So my business partner Steve Clark, he's a Marine Corps guy. He was a radio reconnaissance guy. But he asked one guy one time in a meeting we were at, what's your favorite flavor crayon? And he gave him a very detailed or I've never heard the answer. I can't say it live on this. I can tell you offline, but it was a good one. I was like, I'm gonna tell people to use that from now on. Um, um, but yeah, so the open spots are kind of the breadbasket states, right? I got a lot of the South covered, like Mason-Dixon line kind of down. Northeast, I'm looking for people. Northwest, I'm looking for people. The North, I'm looking for people, honestly. And I actually got some aviation boats and mates, Derek, that work with me. One in LA and one in Temple, Texas. And so
A, B, or wannabe.
that's it, man. I'll take the fucking knuckle draggers. I don't care.
Yeah,
So
I seen on your website. I was on the website. I think it just says for like careers, just email. I guess the team that's there.
We're gonna get Casey on a call after this to help him get some jobs on the 7 Eagle job board. So you can do that.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sales, I think is on the website. It's like sales at recon-supply.com. You can send it there. It actually comes to me. So I'll see it all there. LinkedIn. I think right now I have on LinkedIn Minneapolis and Seattle, just throwing it out there to see what I can find. That I'm looking for people. But again, it's all over. I mean, Kansas City area, Northern California area, like I said, Seattle, DC, up towards Vermont, even Pittsburgh, all that kind of little conglomerate of, in the Northeast right there is where I started in the South because, I mean, no offense, I'm a Southern guy, right? I'm a South Texas boy by, birth. And then now I live in Greenville, South Carolina. But the, um, uh, the South is definitely unhealthy compared to the North, right? So if you get in the medical device world or into medicine at all, if you're in pharma or you're whatever, like you learn that pretty quick. Like you want to be in the South. That's where the best territories are because that's where the most unhealthy people are. We like to eat down here, So, yeah, yeah.
What about Omaha? Someone just asked in the chat.
My favorite city. I go to the College World Series every year. Yeah. It wouldn't be Omaha in particular. I think there is a VA there actually, but it would fall into a territory that is around that area for sure. Would be looking for somebody in that space.
If it's not fried, it's a waste of calories. I love that. Now, there's definitely something to be said about the South and the foods we like to eat.
Yeah.
So what are the top, like, let's say I guess the better question would be like, what's a day in the life? Like if someone from this call were to join the Recon Supply team tomorrow or next Monday, let's say, what would
Yeah.
their first week look like, for example?
Training. So I have a national sales trainer. She's out of Houston. And so the first week would be just the onboarding. So we have about a 3-week onboarding process that we do currently. I'm trying to get it down, but we're a small business, you know what I mean? And I tell people that all the time, like you just got to go with the flow. Like if you've ever worked in a startup organization, you wear multiple hats. And so things get done, but they get done at the pace they can be done, not at the pace you want it done, right? And so that it's about 3 weeks currently. So the first week would be getting all the paperwork done, and getting you legal and all that kind of stuff. And then the second week you go hang out with my trainer, and she also has a Houston VA. She's the only one of my reps that has one VA. So she has a Houston VA, and you follow her around, and she kind of show you the ropes and go through some of the products, and then that third week, you go back home and you would do training via Zoom or Teams. We're, federal government, so we use Teams, not Zoom. But yeah, but it'd be conference call type training with the manufacturers that we work with because they got to train you up for legality reasons. And then you would do training with me. Actually, I get involved in the third week and kind of start talking about medical products and some of the things that we have that we are in control of. That we have a couple of devices that we actually are the manufacturers of record, and so yeah, I handle all that kind of stuff. And then you're out and about, footloose and fancy free. I'm serious when I say that. Like I hire somebody for a territory and I'm like, that's your territory. You ask me for help for sure. Ask the leadership for help. Excuse me. But I'm gonna kind of give you enough rope to hang yourself, basically.
Geez. So if there's one VA, like what does that look like though? Like are they going to that hospital every day trying to get the hospital to buy stuff, or how does that work?
Um, yes, not every day because like I said, you got 3 to 4 usually.
Right.
3 for sure, maybe 4. And they're spread out. For instance, my guy here, South Carolina has Columbia, South Carolina, Augusta, Georgia. Or there's also Augusta, South Carolina. It's just the VAs just happen to be on the other side of the river, so it's a Georgia address. And he has Charleston, and then I've been letting him just because we had an opportunity and I needed somebody. He went up to Salisbury, and he's been bumping around up there. But so they have to do territory management in order to, and that's what I mean. Like I kind of let them go. Like I don't give them, hey, here's the detailed plan of how I want you to do this thing. Is you have to hit those VAs, at least once a week, like kind of thing, just to put something out there, I guess. And so you need to figure out your call pattern and what you're doing. So with the products that we have, to answer the second part of the answer to that question is yeah, you roll into the VA at 7:30, 8 in the morning, whatever time, and you're there all day, or you can be there all day because we sell into multiple departments. We
Gotcha.
we like to group things together. Like we're in the cath lab, so we have like 3 or 4 products in the cath lab you can sell. We're in the wound care space. We got 3 or 4 products in the wound care space you can sell. So, but you can hit all those, and then we got products that you could sell to everybody in the VA technically. And so, yeah, so you can be busy in that one VA all day, every day.
Oh wow, that's crazy. That's pretty legit though. I mean, I just was thinking to myself, like, wait, so you just go and annoy them all day? But if it's probably it's probably different than that. But I want to grab Josh's question and then I'll come back. We'll come back to me if there's nobody else. But Josh, what you got, brother?
All right. So after hearing that, some follow-on question would be, or would your company look to bring on anybody for like that? A lot of us are in Skill Bridge for like OJT during that process.
Yeah. I mean, not I don't have a filter either, guys. I just don't really have time for one. And I haven't for a long time, so I'm kind of used to talking without a filter. So if I say something that pisses y'all off, I apologize, but I'm all about free labor. So yeah, 100%. And then it would lead. So I know a little bit about the Skill Bridge program. The Eagle 7 guys, informed me a little bit. They're a wealth of knowledge over there. And they're doing it right. Like I was really impressed with this program that they have set up, and that they get all you guys together, because that is one of the hardest things. There's a reason why I haven't found, I don't have the whole United States filled out yet. Is because I really am sticking to that. I want veterans. I could go hire some medical sales guys and fill it out tomorrow. I just not the type of organization that we want to be. And it is hard to find veterans to do this. And I think it's the culture of the corporate America that's made it that way. For instance, my guy I usually do 3 interviews, right? First interview, I let you interview me because not a lot of people know what SQVOSB is and federal government contracting and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of know what you're getting into. And then the next 2 are where I ask you questions. And so, for instance, I had a guy that was 5th group, right? Airborne, blah, 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 SF, yada, yada, yada. CW3. So he was a fucking warrant officer in the Army, spoke 3 languages, spent time doing all kinds of goofy stuff. I saw his resume, and that was it. I was like, all right, dude, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And he was like, this was really refreshing, because usually he's like, I've been trying to get a medical device job for like 8 months, Casey. He's like, and then I was trying to get like a corporate job where I was in the management role because of what I've done, running SF teams and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, man, like your resume, like I can't let you go. Like you're a professional people mover. Like you've managed, like, dude, your resume is better than most corporate people's resumes. So I hired him on the spot. I was like, all right, you're hired. I'll figure a spot out for you. And so we did. So he's one of my managers today down in the South. So yeah, I take the I can read a little bit. I don't speak Army. I tell people that all the time because I was in the Navy, but I know enough, or I can ask enough questions to understand kind of what the role that you did in the military entailed. And I know enough about the military to understand, to do the correlations across, like, okay, in the business world, this would be this or this would be that, right? And so I would rather have a veteran than a college graduate, honestly, because they got OJT.
So were any of you guys on the call right now? Could you throw a 1 in the chat if you were on a few weeks ago when Austin Alexander came on? You guys know the pull-up guy, Battle Bunker? They came on 7 Eagle Academy. Yeah, so when Matt and I were at the MIC, Matt was actually interviewing Austin Alexander on the Academy, like live from the MIC, and I literally went over and grabbed Casey and I was like, "Come check this out." And because like I said, as soon as I saw Recon and these guys and their vets running this company and they're looking to add vets to their team, I was like, I got to get these dudes on 7 Eagle Academy. So that's what it was all about. But yeah. So, anyways, Timothy, what you got, brother?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming to talk to us, Casey. Uh, I guess I'll be a little blunt since we're
Yeah.
speaking unfiltered and all that. What's the average salary, or I guess it's with commissions or whatnot? What's the average pay scale for your sales reps?
Based on experience, it ranges. So a territory manager, probably looking at the base salary. I don't know. I make it up as I go. So I'll throw out there 60 to 120. I got no clue. It just depends on your resume and how I feel about you that day and all that kind of jazz. Not to lie. And how bad I want you, right? If I really want you and you're like, yeah, I just can't make 80 work, man, I'll be like, all right, well, how about 90? Whatever. And so yeah, it ranges. So yeah, it's salary, commission, and we pay expenses because, like I said, you got 3 to 4 VAs, right? And so, like, my guy in Phoenix goes to Vegas. And now, that's a hike, right? So I pay for him to get there, right? Pay for hotels. So we have an expense. We have an expense. You have an expense account, basically. So we pay for that. Salary, commissions. All of us are veterans, so we all use the VA, or we're TRICARE for lifer kind of guys. So we do have health insurance for the spouses and the children, and some of our billers on the back end are not military. They're usually wives of military, honestly, the 4 that we have. So they need insurance. So we do have medical insurance, but that's just a recent occurrence because we were all TRICARE for life for veterans and we didn't need it. So, but yeah, so it's a normal benefits package that you find with a sales organization out there, a medical device sales organization.
I mean, I'll just say from my perspective, first of all, that was extremely transparent. So I appreciate that transparent answer. But number two, that's a really good, that's really good for sales, like starting out. And so that's legit, man. Chris, what you got?
Hey, Casey, if we can get over the fact that you're Navy and Air Force, I feel like we'd be good friends. But yeah, a couple questions. So when you talk about these traveling between these VA centers, how much travel are we talking about, like on a monthly basis? Are we going to be on the road like a lot? Are we talking like a week out of the month? Are we talking 50%, 70%? Because work-life balance is also important for people with families. And I'm just curious on kind of what that looks like. And then follow-up question to that is, I'm in Crestview, Florida. Like I said, I have a lot of sales experience. Talking to people is a strength of mine. And so I'm near like Eglin Air Force Base, like Destin, Fort Walton Beach area. I know Pensacola is about an hour away from me. They have VA there. I'm just curious on, are there opportunities in my area as well? If the travel makes sense and stuff for my family. Just
Yeah.
those couple questions.
Yeah. So it depends on the territory. For instance, North Florida, right? You got Lake City, Gainesville, Orlando, the 2 in Tampa, right? And then there goes all the way down. The next one's in West Palm, the next one's in Miami, and then the next one's in Puerto Rico, for VAs, right? And you got CBOX all over the place, and then there's like an outpatient clinic in Jacksonville, that kind of plays in with the naval stuff there in NAS Jax and all that kind of jazz. But so for that territory, I mean, if you can drive to if you can drive from your house to Tampa, do Tampa and drive home that day, well then it's just a normal 9 to 5 for you. But if you need to be there early and you need to stay the night because you got to be at a meeting at 7 a.m. and you don't want to get up at 4 to make the drive because it's a 3-hour drive for whatever, then yeah, then you make that happen. And like I said, I give my territory managers the freedom to do that kind of thing. The Some of the territories, actually, the biggest one I have is taken. It's the dude in Phoenix, right? He goes Phoenix to El Paso to Vegas. He's kind of got a big triangle like that, and he did that to himself. He wanted that. I did not force that on him. But for the most part, you can do it in a day. You don't need to like road warrior it and stay gone for 4 or 5 days and all that kind of jazz. I mean, can if you want to, but you don't have to. I try to set it up where you can drive there, drive home, drive there, drive home, but you're driving to different locations, right? So yeah, so you do put some miles on your car, but we pay mileage reimbursement, so you get some of that back.
So follow up I mean, I think you partially answered the question. Is this a daily thing? Every day I'm on the road. We talking every single day I'm on the road going to some VA place, or is there work that I'll be doing at home where I'm like maybe doing some back end stuff and I'm preparing, future sales or anything like that, or maybe closing some of the administrative aspect of some of the things that I accomplished. Like, is every day I'm going out every day? Is that kind of the expectation, I guess?
Yeah. Yes, so some of my guys, it depends on the products you get going. There can be some logistical lifts to them. And so for the most part, as the business owner, my answer to that question is yes. Every day, I want you in there. I'm paying you to be in the VA. I want you in the damn VA, right? Is there a reality? Eh. No. Some of my guys do a at-home work day kind of thing where they get all their paperwork together and make sure they get all their emails and they set up their plan for the next day. And I'm fine with that. Um, um, Before I forget, because I saw it pop up, somebody named Rachel asked about the contracting side. Yes, there is. For sure. That side's growing as well. But the to answer your question, but yeah, so back to the other point. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, realistically, no, man, I mean, no, right? And that's kind of the kind of the rub, right? You know, if you're in regular medical sales, right, you know, and you're in pick a city, Nashville, and you're an orthopedic guy, right? Selling hips, knees, or you're a trauma guy selling trauma or whatever you're selling, your call points are ridiculous, right? You probably have 100 doctors that you can call on, and you got 5 or 6 hospitals that you're working with, and so you're just go from 5:30 in the morning till whenever you get done at night because you know they glorify it. You know, medical cells or medical device cells. Yeah, you're in the OR. Yeah, you can tell a doctor what to do. That's all true, right? I mean, I was that guy standing in the corner. They'd wheel him in, you know, and the patient would be like, "Who's that dude?" And they'd be like, "Oh, that's a sales rep." And I'd be like, "Yo, I'm the guy that's about to tell doc how to do your knee." Like, I'm important. You know, there is that part of the side of it, but the the side that doesn't get told a lot because they want to romanticize it because they want everybody to apply for those jobs is that you're also a UPS driver, right? You're there at 5:30 for a 7 a.m. surgery, making sure that the trays have been sterilized and they're in place in the OR for your first case. And then when your surgeries are over, you got surgeries the next day, you're going down to central processing, sterile supply. You're helping clean those trays so that you can package them up, put them in your car, drive them to the next hospital for the next surgeries the next day. And so I always like to say you're a qualified UPS driver.
Yeah, I
For the most,
appreciate that. I don't see
yeah,
any other hands, so I'd like to continue the conversation if possible, since I don't see. Oh, Tyler's interrupting me, but um, yeah.
Take it.
So kind of follow up to that. Now Tyler made me forget. Good Lord. Um, so we were talking about the.
Think up your question. I'll ask. I got two
Yeah,
quick
yeah,
ones. Number
yeah. Go
one,
ahead.
so obviously you want guys and gals like Monday through Friday at the VA hospitals. But what
Mhm.
about like leave? Like how do they who like does someone cover down for staff when they're on leave or how does that work?
Yeah, so we are just getting into the surgical side of things to where that matters, right? And I've told everybody that it's on you. And what I mean by on you is you need to talk to people and get it covered. Worst case scenario, you know, you talk to the guys that are around your area. Nobody can help you out, you know, get me involved and call me and, you know, I'm short airplane ride away to wherever I gotta go. But yeah, yeah, you have to get it covered if you're in a surgical setting.
Right.
And other than that, no. I mean, so yeah, the vacation. I don't know off the top of my head what it is. It's 2 weeks or 3 weeks or you know whatever it is. But we're also a federal contractor and we go into the VAs and the DoD. Well, every federal holiday, there's a skeleton crew in the VA, so it's no sense in being there. Not unless you got a not unless you got a reason to be. But if you're just going in to like sell and call on people, yeah, you're not gonna find them. It's the VA. So we get federal holidays off. So we get a lot of days off. We really do. More than you would on the commercial side for sure doing this job. And so, but I'm big on life. Somebody has said that earlier. Work-life balance. I've always been one of those work hard, play hard guys. Always. And yeah, so I'm big on, you know, getting your week off so you can go disappear in the woods and get your thoughts together and all that kind of shit. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right up my
That's the
alley.
exact, I mean, honestly, that's the exact reason why I sought you guys out. Cause like, there's a lot of, we have about 18 or 20 folks on the team here at Seven Eagle. And some of them are like, they really focus, they love helping with resumes. Some really like helping with LinkedIn, some like helping veterans in general. But I'm actually super passionate about finding companies like yours that are like veteran owned, operated, that to give these guys an opportunity to go work in an environment that suits them, right? Like I think like most people on this call would, enjoy working with you, right? Someone who's like-minded, you can have the banter, the military banter, stuff like that. But work hard, play hard mentality, I think resonates with a lot of the folks in our academy. So Chris, what you got, brother?
Hey, I remember now, So you talked about the sterilization. So I actually have a lot of experience with infection control as well and sterilization. I know about I've scrubbed up in ORs. You know, I know the importance of not having a hospital-borne infection, and so
Yeah.
I think that I could leverage that experience too, and helping that, if that's something that we're a part of. So, I guess my question to you is, when can I am I able to set up a private call with you, to maybe discuss further about maybe potentially joining your team in Florida? Are you open to that?
Yeah, I'm always willing to talk to people, man. I'll lean on the Seven Eagle guys and how they want to do that. This is their show. I'm just a visitor.
Well, I know Tyler pretty well. Tyler and I have had a lot of
Yeah.
conversations, and I mean, Tyler, I'll talk. I'll get you in connection with Tyler if we can land something and we can figure that part out. But I'm more interested in, are you interested in this potential venture? I have a lot of skill bridge time left too, so I'm skill bridge
Yes,
through
we
from
call
now
it
through 7th of February.
we call it
So.
prove it time. He's got a lot of prove it time on the clock. He's got to like
Mhm.
February
Prove
where
it
he
time.
can
Yeah, I like that. Prove it
prove it
time.
deep.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
Yep. I
that's
have a
awesome.
lot of time left. I have a lot of opportunity to, potentially save you a lot of money why I get proficient in the job
Yeah,
too. So
that's
I'm really serious about having a conversation, as soon as possible. So whenever I can get on your books.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to Tyler offline and we'll figure it out, man. I just don't want to step on toes. I don't know how they do it. So
yeah, no, we'll get it set up, Casey. I want you guys
yeah,
to be able to grab some of these guys out of the academy and get them going and get some of that
yeah.
prove it time if you're open to it. So that'd be cool. And by the way, for the rest of you on the call, take notes because Chris is doing. This is what it's all about right here. Listen to what Chris is doing right now and Josh and stuff like that. This is why we do this. This is why we make these introductions because oftentimes there's a lot of you that are applying to jobs, you're getting ghosted, you're calling, you're not getting answered. And so we quite literally twist Casey's arm to be here. And so like take the opportunity, have the conversation, ask the question, be engaged in what's going on. This is how we set you guys up for success. So there was another one that I had. I forgot what it was. So go ahead, Derek.
I'm another one.
These people are gonna
I'm
stalk you, by the way, Casey. These dudes, Chris and Derek, are gonna stalk you until you hire them. Just letting you know.
I got the chills. I had to go get a sweatshirt on, man. I got the chills because I know what I can provide for your company. So,
Yeah.
especially in this area. So, yeah, let's set up a call, man. Let's get moving in the right direction for everyone. I only have about a month left of my skill bridge, but that doesn't mean anything because I can make stuff shake around here.
All right. I mean, I'm looking at North Carolina is one of those
Derek's
places.
legit. Derek's a legit guy. I can vouch for him. He's really legit. So he's a legit guy.
No,
I also that reminds me of my question though is do you handle all the interviewing, hiring, firing, all that stuff, or do you have someone else that helps out with that? All
this
right,
guy.
sweet. You're the guy. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that good luck wasn't for me, but I'll take it.
It might have been. Oh no,
Yeah.
Andrew Benyo has an interview at 12, so he's jumping off. Go
Um,
ahead. So what you got?
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna throw it out there like Derek and Chris as well. I'm the one that asked the contracting question, so I'd
Yes,
be
ma'am.
super interested in talking about that. Maybe doing paperwork, back shop side. Like I said, it was on the Air Force side, but don't hold that against me. So
I won't. I really wanted to be a PJ. I really wanted to be a PJ. But it just didn't work out. So
Boo.
yeah. Actually, after watching some of these Vietnam era documentaries and stuff, I think if I had to do it all over again, I'd have been a Pathfinder. That's pretty cool. I went to the Army.
That's right up my alley. I'm a combat controller, so Pathfinder was the roots of that.
Yeah, I thought that was always a pretty cool program. Of course, I'm sure it's a little different now than it was back in Vietnam era, but still, it sounded pretty damn cool. Yeah, I mean, so any more questions, I guess, or I mean, I just kind of wrap it up that I mean, I've had a lot of my guys put what? Oh, aircraft maintenance. Oh, yeah. I've had a lot of my guys when they talk to, and I think maybe Tyler and you guys, we're talking to Ben. I don't know if he threw it out there. He's kind of the one that came up with it, and then everybody's kind of replicated it. You know, this was the first gig he had out of the Army, was working for me, and he was like, it's a fire team. It was the best way that he could describe it, and I like the way I like that description of it all. Is because it is. So all of my sales reps were talk to each other so much so the fact that we all have a text chain going constantly, right? Where everybody asks questions and talks and best practices and all that kind of stuff. So you get that group, and plus we're all veterans, right? So you get that group mentality, in that support structure, which I feel is really important, especially right when you get out. Because I remember when I got out, going from a highly structured environment, a little fast-paced environment, to slowing that. I think that was the worst part, was going from fast-paced to slowing way the hell down, and just going to college, right? And you have the freedom to do whatever you want to do. You 3 days a week you're going to class, and you're older, so you're drinking, right? It's legal for you to drink, and you can get in trouble those ways. Idle hands, a lot of trouble. So we try to lean heavy on that support structure, because I knew I needed it. Steve, my business partner, knew he needed it getting out. And all of our reps that are straight out and this is their first gig, they say the same thing. I really appreciate, the structure there and the family environment. It's helping me with the transition, because I think that's the biggest part that's missed, going from, military to civilian life, is TAPS sucks, right? It really sucked when I was going through it. I've heard it's gotten a little better. I don't know, but they don't really set you up for what to expect, because you've been told every morning, tie your shoes, shine your shoes, make your bed, do this, do that, be here then, be there now, eat now, sleep now. And then now it's like, oh, I can do what I want when I want. Like, oh, what do I do? And it's not, doesn't mean that you're not mentally, it's not mean you're mentally challenged or anything like that. It's just your mind has just been set up to work that way for so long, years and years and years. And then it's just an abrupt end, and it's do it on your own time, figure it out yourself. Like, I'm not here to hold your hand. Yeah,
we actually refer to the Seven Eagle Academy as TAP 2.0, and I'm actually a little bit nervous that the government's going to come ask us to fulfill a contract for TAP. So, well, just because I mean they get a week. It's a mandatory thing. It's a week, and then they get as much information into you as they can. But it's very, from my experience, and maybe it's gotten a little bit better since I got out 3 years ago. But when I went through TAP, it was very generic and like peanut butter spread across the board. It didn't give like personalized advice or any one-on-one mentorship coaching, any of the introductions to, people like you in the civilian world. So that's when we built Seven Eagle Academy and launched it back in April. That's exactly what we wanted to get after. Like, what is TAP missing, and what can we put into place to be there as a support system once these folks get out. So a couple more. I gotta be mindful because we only got 6 minutes left. But Josh, what you got?
First off, if Casey, Tyler, if the government comes to you for TAP 2.0 and you need somebody to teach it, let me know. That's if Casey doesn't hire me first. My question is, you say a lot of, for the roles and everything, you're still trying to fill, and the territories to cover, and everything comes to you. Do you guys have at your company like a talent acquisition specialist or a recruiter already, or are you looking for one?
I got one. You're staring at it.
I'm sure you're a busy guy. I can help you with that.
Right. And that's where I'm at. So we've been doing this for 3.5 years, and we've at least doubled, if not tripled in size every year. And it's for 3 people, me, my business partner Steve, and his wife, and other business partner / wife Katie, wearing all the different hats. Like, our organization is getting to the point in its life cycle to where that's not possible anymore, right? We got to start divvying out. Hey, we need people to do this. We need people to do this. And I kind of take the inverse of it. Just trying to let you guys understand how my mind works is I'm a merit guy. So, and I tell all my sales reps this: if you have an idea, pencil it out and run it to ground, and then come to me and Steve with it and pitch it. Right, that guy Ben I've been talking about, the SF guy. Why I've been talking about him a lot is because he's fresh on my mind. Because right now he's pitching to me the DoD side, because we're only on the VA side. I mean, we have DoD contracts. We sell some stuff to Tripler and Launch Stoll and Walter Reed and BAMC and the one out in Seattle. I always forget the damn name of that base, but we sell to those, but we don't have sales reps running in and calling to them. And Ben has an idea of how to get that done, and so he's putting together a project, and he's going to present it to me and Steve. And then if it works, then now he's a project manager. He bumps up the chain real fast, right? Because he's going to run that for us on the DoD side. So I'm big from within. I like to promote from within because I can control it and I know who it is. And then also, like, make your own way, right? Just come up with an idea, run it to ground. If it makes business sense, me and Steve are very open. We both will be like, yeah, run it, do it. Cheers. Now, congratulations, you got a promotion. Yeah, go do it. So yeah, that's kind of how we operate over here. We're really big on the startup mentality, and that's why we only work with startups. So
that's awesome. Chris Prescott, what you got, brother? We got room for one more.
Hey, yeah, so I'm currently driving, so pardon the camera being off. I just finished up with an appointment.
All good.
But I was curious, are you guys looking for like analytic positions at your company, maybe like looking for, people to tell you like how much you're spending where, maybe like the metrics, like, are you guys looking for anything like that?
Not currently, because AI is doing a decent enough job.
Okay.
Not gonna lie. I use ChatGTP like it's going out of style for a lot of stuff. If you guys aren't on the ChatGTP chain, I highly recommend it. So much to the fact that I started a coin laundry business and my business plan came from ChatGTP. Took me about 10 minutes to create.
Same thing. I like everything. I use Grok for everything, but it's the same concept.
Yeah.
Why spend hours recreating the wheel when it can already be created for you in 5 seconds? So
yeah, Bank of America gave me a business loan based off of a ChatGTP business plan. So I highly recommend using it. Yeah.
That's crazy. But I mean, like, definitely, if you have any interest in Recon Supply or what Casey and Ben and his team have going on, I already sent Casey a text so we could set up a call and have a further chat. But I definitely see alignment here, obviously, between Seven Eagle and Recon, and where we can help you guys get some awesome veteran talent that's like ready to start running right now for you. So So Chris, if you've got interest in the mission, it probably wouldn't hurt to, set up a call once we get this opened up and see if there's any alignment there. But dude, Casey, I want to let you get back to your day, because knowing you probably have a call in 2 minutes. But,
I do, actually.
I seriously appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. And I'll obviously be in touch, and thank you. And looking forward to future stuff. So definitely love to have you back, if nothing else. So
thanks, guys, and feel free to use me as a resource if I can help out anyway. Let me know.
Awesome. If I need a hip or a knee, I'll be calling for sure.
Hey, Casey, I had put in there. How do you prefer that we contact you, so we don't have to do like multiple times? Like what's the easiest way to get in contact with you?
Let me set up a call with Casey. I shot you my calendar invite, calendar, Casey, and then we'll set up a streamlined process so he's not getting blasted from 15 different directions. If that works for you, Casey.
That does, yeah. I was gonna say I'll probably create an email for it or something.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much for being here.